All right, guys, in this video, you're going to be learning how to subtract linear expressions. To subtract one linear expression from another, you need to add the opposite of each term in the second expression. Negative x, positive 6. You need to add the opposite of each one of the term in the second expression. This is the first expression, right? And then this is the second expression. Instead of being negative x, it becomes positive x. Instead of being positive 6, it becomes negative 6 because you're adding the opposite. Opposite of negative x is positive x. Opposite of positive 6 is negative 6. And then you are ready to subtract. Let's take a look at this example. So I have k, okay, plus 3. Then here it says, don't forget to add the opposite of each term in the second expression. So instead of being positive 3k, like is here, it has to be negative 3k. As you can see, I lined them up like this because they are like terms. Instead of being negative 5, now it's positive 5. I added the opposite. Did you see it? The opposite of positive 3k is negative 3k, and the opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. So I added the opposite of each one of the term and the second expression. All right, now I'm ready to proceed. Positive 3 and positive 5 is basically positive 8. And then k and negative 3k, remember, there's an invisible one here, okay? So it will be negative 2k because as I have different signs, I need to subtract and keep the sign of the greatest absolute value. My final answer is negative 2k, positive 8. Now, pause the video and subtract these linear expressions by yourself. All right, the first expression will stay the same, negative 6w, positive 2. Then I need to add the opposite of each term in the second expression. The opposite of positive 7 is negative 7. But I cannot write negative 7 down here. It has to be over here because negative 7 and positive 2 are like terms. Now I need to add the opposite of positive 2w, which is negative 2w. Now I'm ready to proceed. Positive 2 and negative 7 is basically a subtraction because they have different signs. So I need to subtract and keep the sign of the greatest absolute value. In this case, it will be negative 7. So positive 2 and negative 7 is negative 5. Negative 6w and negative 2w have the same signs, which means that I need to add them and keep the sign that they have in common. 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is negative 8w because I need to keep the same variable. How about this one? Do not forget, you need to line up the like terms and add the opposite of each one of the terms in the second expression. Pause the video and try to do it by yourself. Let's try to do this one. We have 8.7j or 8 7/10 j. And then we have negative 3.3. Remember that you need to add the opposite of each one of the terms in the second expression. Instead of being positive 7.2j, it's going to be negative 7.2j. Instead of being negative 4.9, it's going to be positive 4.9. Now I'm ready to continue. In this case, as they have different signs, I need to subtract them. Remember that when you're subtracting, the biggest number or the one with the highest absolute value needs to be first, okay, right on top. So let's do it here so you can see it. 4.9 minus 3.3. 9 minus 3 is 6. Bring down the decimal point. 4 minus 3 is 1. In this case, as 4.9 has the greatest absolute value, it will be positive 1.6. Here, you need to do the same. You need to subtract because they have different signs. So let's do it here. There you go. 7 minus 2 is 5. Bring down the decimal point. 8 minus 7 is 1. In this case, it's going to be positive 1.5 because 8.7 has the greatest absolute value. So it will be 1.5j. Do not forget about the variable. How about you challenge yourself and try to do this subtraction by yourself? Pause the video and go. Right? In this case, we have 2/5 q positive 12. The like term that I have is 3/10 q. But remember, as I am subtracting, I need to add the opposite of each one of the term in the second expression. This term is positive 3/10 q. So the opposite, it is negative 3/10 q. Instead of negative 9, it will be positive 9. Okay? So now I'm ready to continue. So if I have 2/5 q and negative 3/10 q, as you already know, I cannot subtract them because they do not have the same denominator. So let's multiply my denominator by 2 and my numerator by 2. And now I have 4/10 q negative 3/10 q. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I have 1/10 q. Now I'm ready. Let me write it down here. 1/10 q. Okay? So in this case, I need to add 12 and 9 because remember, when they have the same sign, you will basically add them and keep the sign that they share. In this case, it's positive. So my answer will be positive 21. Let me write it down here in case that you cannot see it. My answer is 1/10 q positive 21. Okay?